Namaste. Welcome back to Mindful Serenity Yoga, or Waking Up in a Busy World. And we're going to continue to answer questions from this lovely jar of many, many questions. So I'm going to dig in, try to reach right down there to the bottom. Some of those old questions have been in there for a while. Oh. Oops. And here we go. I have adult children, and they are all having a difficult time. I get overwhelmed with their pain. How can I help them without burning out? Well, that's a good question. I have adult children, and they are all having a difficult time. I get overwhelmed with their pain. How can I help them without burning out? I probably could have answered that question, or written that question myself, because I can definitely relate to that person's sense of frustration and helplessness in dealing with the suffering of others. I think as parents, we are probably seeing a great deal of not only what society would deem as healthy attachment with our children, but an unhealthy attachment as well. We tend to get enmeshed in their lives, feeling somehow a lack of separation between what they're experiencing and what we're experiencing. And it's a good example of the special relationship, I suppose, that the Course in Miracles often speaks to. This idea that we need others in our environment to help fill in the holes within ourselves. And parenting often does that. We have other beings that are dependent on us at early ages that become, a source of great love and a great purpose for us. That we often cling to them and have an expectation that they should always be happy and have an easy life, and we do our best to promote that for them, to keep them from pain, often at the expense of our own suffering. So I think that's normal. So the fact that we are attached to these beings and see them as extensions of ourselves rather than separate entities on their own, own life forms with their own purpose and their own journey to take. And that causes a great deal of suffering in us when they are suffering. And most of the adults around us today are suffering to some degree. It is estimated in Canada that the ages of 14 to 25 are where we're seeing the most cases of mental illness in the form of depression, major depressive disorders, and anxiety. We see more addictions in that age group. We see more illness related to a lack of happiness or fulfillment. It's like a very real problem that this person is having, watching their adult children suffer and feeling overwhelmed by it and wondering how they can help without getting burnt out. I definitely know they're not alone. I know I'm experiencing that myself. And so are many, many other people, I assume, considering the statistics. So how can we help them without burning out ourselves? Well, Kahlil Gibran said it best when he said that our children are not our own. They come through us, but they are not of us. we can try to be like them, but we must cease trying to make them like us. They are separate entities. They have their own life path to follow, their own journey to take. And we need, at some point, to let them go. Let them go when they're happy, or let them go when they're suffering. But we need to let them experience life. We are just the bows as parents, as Gibran goes on to say, and they are the arrows that we're supposed to shoot out there. So we do our best for the first 18 years of life. And 14 gets pretty bad. By 14, 16, 14, 15, 16, it can be pretty bad. But it's their job to fly forth, and all we are is about it. Lets them go from there. I'm not saying that we want to see anybody suffering. Compassion is so important as parents. But true compassion isn't trying to fix, trying to control, trying to stop someone from pain. In fact, doing so could be the opposite of compassion, because pain is a part of life, and our children need to experience it. The suffering component comes when we resist pain, or we teach our children to resist their pain, to avoid it, to numb from it, to reach out and try to grab other alternatives to pain, like the happy things in life, so that they don't feel pain. When we deny the reality of the 10,000 sorrows, we deny the reality of the 10,000 joys, because they go together. We need to allow our children to feel pain. I spent most of my life helicoptering around my children, trying to stop them from having pain. And they just ended up with more pain. And that was a lesson from life for me, to step back, to let my children suffer. There's no doubt about it, there's a biological component to depression and anxiety and neurochemistry related to many of these illnesses that our children are experiencing, or these difficulties that our children are experiencing. And we do want to assist with that and guide and support and be there. We can't fix it for them. We need to give them the reins of their lives back to them, so that they can fix their own lives, and not fix their lives, because life will just be life, but to tame their minds and tame their emotions, so that they could see a distinction between the mind and the emotions and who they really are. I believe a deeper practice, or a deeper solution, can always be found to these world problems that seem to be so overwhelming for us, including watching our children suffer. As parents, we need to go deeper, find the solutions within ourselves that come often with silence and stillness, and an awareness of who we really are beneath all the thinking noise and the emotions that seem to take over our lives as we watch our children suffer, or as we do anything in life. To see that what's happening on the surface is only happening on the surface. There is a refuge we can always go to, an island, according to Thich Nhat Hanh from Buddha's teachings, that we can always fall back into, a refuge. And that's in the deeper self, the spaciousness of who we really are. And if we could get our children away from their electronic devices and their attachment to worldly things, and not that we should get away from them. If we do that ourselves, they may want to follow us. We are the mentors, and maybe they'll follow. If we can detach from our own sense of need for busyness and doing, maybe they'll follow us into this quiet, still space that's within us all. Maybe they'll learn those wonderful, life-affirming techniques of meditation and mindfulness. so that they can be emancipated from their emotions, from that viewpoint, that conditioning that they have to follow their emotions, and their emotions are in charge when they are the ones in charge. But of course, we can't give that to them. We can't fix it for them. We need to give it to ourselves and fix our own, learn to tame our own minds by going into that stillness and that quiet and that mindful meditation or prayer, whatever it is that brings you to that place of spacious quietness where everything makes sense. And maybe they'll follow us there, and maybe they won't. But our duty is not to get lost in their suffering. Definitely feel compassion and loving kindness and offer support and encouragement. But until we are healed, until we are in that spaciousness and gladly going there, until they witness us going there and seeing what that does for us, there will be no change in our children. But there will be a change in us. And when we change ourselves through this practice, we offer them so much more than solutions to problems or quick fixes. We offer them a way to live by showing them our peace and our essence. It's all about going deeper. It's always, always about going deeper. Beneath the thoughts and the thinking and the emotional slavery that so many people are experiencing, to the freedom and the peace, a deeper experience of spaciousness can provide. So what does this person do with their older children? Love them, yes. Offer loving kindness and compassion, yes. But go inside yourself first. Tame your own mind. Find your own stillness. And from there, you will be able to give your children what they truly need. What you truly need. Peace. Well, that's all I have to say. I'm hoping that makes sense. Namaste.